The Israeli military says it has attacked dozens of Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon in retaliation for rockets fired over the border. Israel released this footage saying it hit Hezbollah weapons storage and infrastructure. Now, the Israeli defense minister says the group's leaders have paid a heavy price.
The operational results are highly impressive. Half of Hezbollah commanders in southern Lebanon were eliminated. These were people in charge of the offensive operation to harm the citizens of Israel. They are now either dead or hiding, having abandoned southern Lebanon to the IDF's intensive operation.
Let's pick up on that with Rebecca Ritters from our studio in Jerusalem. Rebecca, a Hezbollah official dismisses the Israeli defense minister's statement as completely worthless, and he says aimed only at boosting Israeli morale. How is it being reported in Israel?
Well, it's being reported that Israel has been carrying out this offensive action in southern Lebanon. Now, that's something that Yoav Gallant, the defence minister who you just heard from there, had signalled some weeks ago that Israel would also be moving to offensive action, not just defensive action. Now, we know that there's been tit for tat, cross-border action since the 8th of October when Hezbollah launched its first rockets into northern Israel from southern Lebanon following that Hamas terror attack on October 7. But we've seen now in the last 24 hours the IDF saying it's hit some 40 targets. That's the latest figure that we have, infrastructure and munitions targets largely, but also Yoav Gallant saying, as you just heard there, that 50% of Hezbollah's southern command have also been wiped out. Of course, impossible to verify those numbers from where I'm standing, but that is what they're saying. Many analysts have been saying, and many Israelis too, saying that a direct conflict between Israel and Lebanon is more or less inevitable. But those same analysts saying that it's unlikely it will happen until the conflict that's happening in Gaza, or the war that's happening in Gaza, is, quote, over or finished. And certainly, after, something looking like a Rafah offensive, which is certainly where everyone's eyes are focused on now. So something in the north, I should say, wouldn't happen until after then. So it's unlikely that what we're seeing now is any kind of escalation, more a continuation of the tit for tat that we have been seeing over the last months.
And Rebecca, I'd like to pick up right there with the war on Gaza. It's now been more than 200 days of war. At this stage, is it clear what Israel's plan is?
Well, it's never really 100% clear, of course. We have been seeing in recent days more airstrikes and another slightly larger bombardments in the centre and north of Gaza. Eyewitnesses saying it's certainly some of the heaviest that they've witnessed in recent times, where we've heard of evacuation orders for people in that northern region as well. But, of course, all eyes really focused on this imminent Rafah offensive. It's what analysts are saying is almost inevitable now. And we've been seeing some reporting today from the Axis web media sites saying that 3 very senior officials are actually in Egypt to discuss a potential Rafah offensive there with officials. Now, Egypt have been very against any kind of offensive happening in Rafah because of the more than 1 million people that are there sheltering from other parts of the Gaza Strip. Earlier today, we also heard from the Israeli military to say that they are ready. We know that 2 reserve battalions were called up and they've been training. The military today saying that they're ready to carry out a Rafah offensive, but they are just waiting for the political green light. So that gives some indication of where we think things are at. Benjamin Netanyahu 2 weeks ago saying that there was a date set for the Rafah invasion. Since then, we had quite a bit of distraction with the Iran counter-attack and then the Israeli counter-attack. Now all eyes back on this, what seems to be inevitable Rafah offensive. Analysts saying, though, that it may not happen immediately because there is still a need to at least move some of the more than 1 million people that are sheltering in Rafah. So certainly looks like that offensive is going to be carried out, but probably not in the next hours or even in the next days.
Our correspondent Rebecca Ritters in Jerusalem. Thank you.